Greetings and welcome to Some of This and Some of That at First Nazareth Baptist Church, where Blakely N. Scott is our pastor. We are thankful to be continuing our summer Bible study or summer learning series with Mrs. Patricia and Mr. Kenny Jackson. They're here to share with us some of their wisdom on managing our money. The topic is money management, and we're grateful to have them here with us. And feel free to submit your questions if you have any. We'll be staying tuned to Facebook Live and YouTube Live, and hopefully they'll be able to help you. I'm going to turn it over to them so that they will be able to share a little bit about themselves, what they do, and some things we can learn about managing our money. Thanks for having us. Thanks for watching us.
There you go. Well, hello to everyone and welcome in. I'm Kenny Jackson.
And I'm Patricia Jackson.
Just a brief background. I have a degree in finance from USC, and I spent 40 years in various positions in the utility business.
And I have a bachelor's of science degree in accounting from North Carolina A&T State University. And I am a retired certified public accountant with 20 years of accounting experience.
We'll start off. We have several topics here to cover, and what I want to stress to you is that we're speaking from our perspective and our experience. So things that we've done, and now we're both retired. So just keep that in mind. I will continue to stress to you throughout the discussion that to review some of these things we're going to talk about, you probably need to consult a qualified financial planner like we've done. And so that's what I want to stress to you throughout the presentation. First thing I want to talk about is financial discipline and budgeting, and I think Patricia is going to talk about that to you.
Yeah, I think budgeting is very important as far as with your financial discipline, because you need to budget, which means budgeting means what you're going to look at, what's your cash flows coming in, and look at your outflows. Yeah, so what we do an annual budget projection and prepare variances updates monthly. So what we have done, we've come up with a spreadsheet that has all of our inflows and then all of our outflows. So we know exactly what's going on each month. And then we balance our checking account. So we start out with the checking balance, and then you look at what's coming in, what's going out, and then hopefully you've got a great
Yeah, the more detail on the budgeting, I think is best. That helps you. A lot of the things will remain the same from year to year, and that's good. But there are some things that come out of the ordinary that you need to plan for, and that's what budgeting will help you do that. Like Patricia said, a spreadsheet comes in real handy, and I know there are programs you can buy, but she's a spreadsheet whiz, so she does the spreadsheet, so that helps out a lot.
And we put all of our accounts together so we can know exactly what total.
And when you have various accounts like that, that's really important to be able to account for each account and know what's going on in each account. And like she said, balancing the checkbook is really important. That way you can make sure there's no irregularities going on in your accounts. So anything else on the budgeting side? The next thing I want to talk with you about is preparing for retirement. And again, this is from our perspective and things that have worked for us. Basically, you need to have various options as far as income when you retire. So a financial planning tool, they call it a financial roadmap, is critical. And that's where a qualified financial planner can help you, because they have these models that they can run for you. And just remember, garbage in, garbage out, but make sure you put in good information so that you can get a really good roadmap for retirement. But it is important to have various options, such as I know a lot of people, will depend on Social Security. I'm not I'm not a Social Security expert, but you hear different things about Social Security, but that's one option today. I don't know what'll happen down the road, but Social Security is one option today. If you're fortunate enough to have a pension, most companies have done away with pensions. Last company I was with phased out the pension. So pensions are being phased out, except for in government and some few other companies. But if you're fortunate enough to have a pension, that's great. That will give you another option. A lot of companies have what you call a 401k plan, which I have for my company, and I may be called something else depending on where you work, like a 403b or something like that. But a 401k is what I'm going to talk about. And with the 401k, a lot of companies they match it dollar for dollar. Some do it 50 cents on the dollar, but others do it dollar for dollar up to a maximum percentage level. I would encourage you today to make sure you get to that max as soon as possible. One of the things I did on the 401k was as I got a raise, I would take some of that raise, put it into the 401k until I got to the maximum match. And because remember, if you put in a dollar and they're matching you a dollar, that's 100% return immediately. I mean, without a doubt, that's the safest 100% you're ever going to get. So, but keep in mind on that. Try to get there as soon as you can and keep it, and you'll be surprised over time how that money will grow.
And with your 401k, that's pre-tax.
That's
So,
pre-tax.
yeah.
That's exactly right.
So they'll take it out before they figure out your taxes, but then when it grows, though, when you actually retire and you start taking the money out,
Yeah.
you're going to be taxed. But
Right.
hopefully you're in a
lower tax bracket.
bracket.
And that's the thinking. You'll be in a lower tax bracket when you retire.
So
You got
401k saves FICA and Uncle Sam from taking it out of your check.
exactly.
Yeah, it does. Because
Exactly.
they'll start out with a lower amount.
Yeah.
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 You're
No,
gonna get the taxes, but it'll be on the tail end.
right. On the tail end
when you retire.
and a qualified financial planner will talk to you about this and say that hey, you'll be in a lower tax bracket when you retire. Most people. Now some people may not, but most
All right, I'm gonna change this name to okay. We will be back on.
here we are.
Okay, we're back.
All right.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
We okay?
Yes.
Okay, we're back. We had left off talking about retirement and income levels. We talked about Social Security as an option, pensions, 401ks. There are a number of things. Some people even recommend annuities. They recommend Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is good if you can afford to put some money into the Roth IRA. Now, it's not subject to pre-tax, it's taxable, but it will grow, and you won't ever have to pay taxes on the growth. So, because you've already paid taxes on the principal amount. So that is a really good option if you can afford to put some money into that Roth IRA. Periodically, you just need to review your plan, and look at what you have and what it's doing, and you have to make adjustments along the way. I mean, there's no doubt you have to make adjustments because markets change and that sort of thing. So, one last thing on that section I would emphasize to you is to prioritize your debt to pay off. As you approach retirement, you'd like to minimize your debt as much as possible, and be able to control your credit card spending. But a qualified financial advisor may be able to help you with all of this and stress test your roadmap. And I would really encourage you to speak with one. And most of them are, if they're qualified, they're really good, and they will help you with that roadmap and build that wealth for retirement. So you want to move into the next section there.
Now we want to talk about good credit scores and how to achieve them. What is a credit score? A credit score is a 3-digit number between 300 and 850, and it's designed to represent your credit risk. So 300 is low, and your goal you want to achieve to get to 850 if you can. And how can you do that? You can pay your bills on time. You want to limit the number of credit cards. You want to pay your balance off every month on your credit cards, because that'll limit the amount of interest you have to pay. You want to check, and you should check your credit report yearly. So you can do that on annualcreditreport.com, and you can check that. You want to do that to check for errors and fraudulent activity. Now, and if you want to borrow money, you probably want to make sure that they only limit the number of inquiries, because that affects your credit score.
It takes points off.
Yeah, so you don't want everybody hitting your credit to see.
That's true. Another thing we focused on again was priority of home ownership. I know Millie is familiar with this, but home ownership has always been a goal of ours, and hopefully to eliminate that mortgage when we retire. And but you have to have a mortgage.
That's good debt, right?
Yeah, that's good. That's good debt.
Yeah.
And make sure you shop around for your interest rate. I know interest rates have been climbing lately, but you can always refinance when interest rates fall. So
your credit score affects that.
The credit score will affect that. That's exactly right. So keep in mind on the interest rate when you're looking. And don't forget, there's a down payment required, and different financial institutions require different percentage down payments to handle the financing. There's always closing costs. You could get surprised on closing costs, but your good real estate professional can direct you and estimate what your closing costs will be. Now, after you have that house, there are other costs associated with it. You got annual property taxes. You got annual insurance coverage for that home. Just general home maintenance. If you an older home, things are going to break. So you might want to budget for a home maintenance cost. And one thing we found out that the place where we live, you have to have a homeowners association. Of course, they have fees. And you want to keep that in mind too. That's part of your budget, that you have to put that in your budget also to be able to pay that, because you want a good homeowners association to protect the neighborhood. And finally, I would say an emergency fund, if you can, and slowly build that emergency fund up. It doesn't have to be a lot, but slowly build that up. And one thing that I did mention earlier, just thought about it. But a lot of companies offer a HSA, a health savings account. That was really good for us when we got into retirement. We had built that fund up, because as you get older, old people, we get we go to the doctor a
Yeah.
lot. So a health savings account would be really good, and that's pre-tax.
Mhm.
So you won't pay taxes on that. So
Mhm.
that is another good thing to keep in mind as you move toward down the road to retirement. Um, Education has always been an issue. People wondering, how can I save for my children's education? Uh, One big thing that we found very helpful is what they call a 529 plan.
Hmm. Okay.
And the 529 plan, that's section 529 of the Internal Revenue Code. And South Carolina has a really good plan.
Mhm.
South Carolina plan is called the South Carolina Future Scholar Plan.
Hmm.
And you can put money in it. Now, it's not tax deductible from a federal standpoint, but it is deductible on your state taxes. So it'll help you some on your state taxes.
Okay.
And then as it grows over time until you need it for tuition and fees and books and lodging, it will grow tax free. And so keep that in mind. That's a real good benefit of the 529 plan. And I think that just about covers the items I had. Did you want to
Well,
get something?
I think, yeah, our financial planner said now you can use your 529 to pay for tuition,
Hmm.
K through 12 tuition now.
Okay,
That's
for
good.
private schools or
Yeah.
schools that need.
Yeah, so
And again, just reiterate, South Carolina has a really good plan. It's tax deductible for state purposes. And I can't stress enough that it's never too early to talk to a qualified financial planner to help you. But everything we said here today is some things that we've done over time.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Do you have any savings tips for us? What
I, I think I think one thing I want to reiterate is the 401k. That is really a good savings plan because you got a match,
Mm-hmm.
and
yeah,
a lot of companies match it dollar for dollar.
So when
And
you're working,
when you're
yeah,
working,
okay.
try to get there as quick. Like I told you, I started out, at I think at 2%.
Mm-hmm.
But as I got a raise, I would take a percent of that raise
Mm-hmm.
and put it on the 401k until I
you
got
get
to the
that
max.
6%.
And you get to the max, I mean,
100%.
it's 100% return.
That's awesome.
So make sure you do that. But I think on a smaller scale, you get in the habit of putting aside, say, $50 into a savings account.
Mm-hmm.
The interest rates are not tremendous, but you can open up a little savings account at a bank, or you could get a money market account too. Banks have money market accounts that pay higher interest rates. They're
Mm-hmm.
not secured, is my understanding. As the savings account is secured, if something happens to the bank, FDIC insurance will cover it. But a money market is not insured, but it does pay a higher interest rate, and they're fairly safe
Mm-hmm.
from what I've heard. So I think if you start off with a small amount, $50, $25, I used to put $25 into a mutual fund
Oh,
every month
yeah.
way back when. So, you'll be surprised how fast things can grow. And you need to get in the habit as your income grow. Just make
Yeah,
sure you peel off some and put it into investments, because another option is your own investment account. When
Yeah.
you
yeah,
have an investment account with a broker,
Mm-hmm.
that can also be an option for you into retire. So
Someone asked if you had to pay a financial advisor.
now, what happens with a financial advisor? It depends on the investments they do. They they charge you a commission. Some of them are commission based, some of them are fee based.
Okay.
We've always dealt with commission based
Mm-hmm.
because I like to be able to choose what I want. I don't want to be paying a fixed fee every month. But
Mm-hmm.
there are people who like the fee based
So
advisors.
they know what to expect. So
Yeah,
for
they know what to expect, and they get a it's a small percentage of your balance or your assets.
okay.
But like I said, we've invested, and I've always looked at. I don't like commissions, so I try to minimize them.
Right.
But again, I'm working with the advisor to
Mm-hmm.
choose specific investments.
Okay. And the commission is a percentage of the yield. So if you invest, you give a financial advisor, you invest a certain amount of money, they make a
They get
commission
a
on
commission off of that.
the interest that
and and
develops.
uh and, and it's usually in the low percentage range. Like if you buy 200 shares of stock or something like that, that comes to $5,000, let's say, they'll get a percentage of that. It's not a lot
And
in
they
the grand
typically
scheme.
give you quarterly reports.
Oh,
Right.
I get monthly
Okay.
reports.
Great.
Yeah, I go online, I get monthly reports, and I track everything monthly.
Absolutely. Someone asked a question about the 401k, our TSP, and why when you withdraw from your TSP, they tax you 20%. And she's 69.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, when you withdraw the dollars early,
okay, that's what.
I'll use the 401k
Oh,
because it's supposed to 59 and a half.
Yeah,
59.
59 and
Yeah, 59 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you say she's
She's
69?
69.
that doesn't sound
Was it a
Okay.
fee, she said?
I'm not pushing. Yeah, that's all she said. Withdraw from your. So you just can't do it past before a certain age.
right.
Yeah.
There are rules around that in an emergency situation. They
Yeah.
will allow that,
Maybe
but
a
usually
house.
it's like a 10% penalty.
Okay.
Uh,
And that's
but,
why she said she was charged 20%.
yeah,
20%.
really, if you know her, no problem
Mm-hmm.
trying to talk with her offline or something. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's
Her name. So if you ever want to reach out to her. Okay. Well, thank you so much to the Jacksons, and thank you to those of you who tuned in. If you have any further questions, they can be reached by email.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Or by calling the church office, and we'll connect you
Yeah.
to them if you
That might be the best.
Yeah.
in
Not that we're advisors.
right.
Yeah.
But it's nothing wrong with sharing wisdom, and
Right.
so
Yeah.
That's what we've done today. We've shared our experiences, and
absolutely.
nothing more, nothing less. Like I said, we're not experts. Matter of fact, we're fairly conservative in what we do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and your wisdom. And to all of you, I hope you have a good night and have a happy 4th this weekend.